Okay, so you guys should have your sheet out in front of you. And we're going to look at how our patterns are growing. And we're going to look at being able to write an equation for this. So our first part says, using a colored pencil, show which parts of the figures stay the same. So what I would love for you guys to do is to get out your colored pencil, and I want you to trace the part that stays the same. So if you want a little bit of help with that, on figure 2, I'm just going to trace this right here.
Including figure 1?
We're going to start with figure 2 here. We're going to get to that in just a minute. That's a great question. And if you notice the part on figure 3 that's the same, it's going to look like that. So our pattern is growing each time. And the part on figure 4 that's the same as that first figure, or I guess the second figure, which is the first one on our sheet. So when looking at that, hopefully you can notice what happens each time we add a figure. Would somebody like to share, what do they notice each time we add a figure? How many rectangles are added? 2, right? We have like 1 at the top and then 1 toward the side. So we have 2 added here from figure 2 to figure 3. And then from figure 3 to figure 4, we have another set added. So if we want to describe how this pattern is changing, we can say that 2 more rectangles are added each time. If you would write that down on your sheet, that would be fantastic. And instead of saying time, I'm going to use the word term. 2 more rectangles are added each term. And a term is like kind of a set of things that goes together. See, a lot of kids were taking some great notes today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Part C says, draw figure 1 and figure 5. So if I want to look at this and I want to draw figure 1 and I want to draw figure 5, okay? I'm going to start over here with figure 5, just to think about that. My pattern said that I drew 2 more rectangles for each term. So that means for figure 5, I'm going to have everything that I have in figure 4, plus another rectangle here, and another rectangle up here, okay? If I go back to what figure 1 would be, I'm kind of think about it in here. Okay. If I added 2 to each term, then I'm going to subtract 2 to get to figure 1. So down here, when I draw figure 1, I'm just going to draw 2 rectangles right next to each other. Because to go from figure 2, where I had 4, I'm going to take away 2. And that's also, if you look up at the board, that's the shape that it's going to be in too. Makes sense so far? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and draw figure 5. And we looked a little bit at that up here, and we noticed that we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks going vertically. And if we don't include this one right here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, another 5 sets on the bottom. So if you guys want to go ahead and draw that one as well, that would be fantastic. Here's a little tricky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? Oh, I need one more, right? Thanks for paying such attention, Lucas. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, you're missing one.
Am I missing one? I think I have.
No, sorry.
Yes. No, I love that you're listening. Lucas was right up front and said, "Give me one more," so I got it. So part D says, describe what figure 10 would look like. You don't need to draw it, but I want you to think, what is figure 10 going to look like? Do you want to talk to the person next to you a little bit right now? I'm totally fine with that. What would figure 10 look like?
Yeah, 10 going up, but starting in the number, and then 10 going 10
You guys are awesome. So I'm going to use the words vertical, which if you want to look at my arm goes this way, and horizontal, which goes this way. I see some of you are doing it, getting your nice morning workout. So if you said something a little bit different in your own words, that's fantastic. Yes, sir.
and
Oh, tell me. I'll write for you.
so as it goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's a pattern, it goes 2, 4, 6, 8, and it goes by twos. Right? The number of blocks.
What goes by twos?
The number of blocks.
Oh, you mean it grows by 2 each time? Yeah, you're totally right.
Oh, wait.
No, but that's awesome that you told us that. Thank you for sharing. So I'm just going to say that figure 10, it would have 10 vertical blocks. That's up and down. Plus 10 horizontal blocks. So 10 vertical blocks plus 10 horizontal blocks. I was talking to a couple of you, and we just want to make sure, and you guys noticed this, which is very cool, that it's like, that we have, if it's figure 10, it would have like 11 blocks on the bottom, right? So that's why I said plus. So it would have a total of one more than whatever the term is. I think the 10 is there. I love that you're paying attention to my punctuation. We good so far? Questions? Right. So we're going to go ahead and represent this in a table as well. Because we could draw our pattern, but sometimes scientists and mathematicians like to put their information into a table. So let's look at up here, and if I say figure 1, Isaiah, how many tiles did we have in figure 1? 10. That was figure 10, or that was a different figure. If I go back up here, figure 1, how many tiles?
2.
2, okay. So in your table, you're going to say 2. Alex, how many tiles did I have in figure 2?
You have 4.
Nice job. Lexi, how many did I have in figure 3? 6. Kale, how many did I have in figure 8? Or figure 4, I'm sorry.
Oh, I already had it.
Riley, how many would I have in figure 5? 10. Okay. And we're going to skip all the way up to 20, Olivia. And how many would I have? I did give it again. Olivia, how many would I have in 10? 20. All right. Okay, so for each of these, we're going to go back to what Kale said. And if you notice, it grows by 2 each time. So it grows by 2 blocks every time we add a term. And this down here goes from figure 5 to figure 10. So it's going to grow by not just 2, but more than that. And that goes back to when we were looking at our pattern, right? You notice 2 more blocks for each picture. All right, now here's F. It says, what is the rule? We talked a little bit about this being like an equation. If you wanted to put this in a y equals mx plus b, or you could write it as an expression. But what is the rule for the number of tiles in each figure? we're going to try and use an n to represent the term number. Or you can think about just what happens, how if we just had the term, if we use that explicit language we talked about before, how am I going to get the reward? Henry, what do you think? So that would be using a recursive sentence. So if we had the term before, add to. Okay, what about if we wanted to use an explicit sentence? How could we use the term number or the figure number to figure it out? Yeah, so we would double the term number, which we could represent as 2n. So if you notice for each of these, if I have figure 4, if I double it, I'm going to get 8, which lets me know how many tiles I have. If I have figure 5 and double it, then I'm going to get 10, which I can also represent as 2n. So if I have figure 75, what I know is that I can just double 75, okay, 2 times 75, and I can get the number of tiles.